Welcome to the Great White Brotherhood YouTube channel.
Hello, everyone. I want to make a hopefully a brief video, informal video about to update everybody what's been going on. And I apologize for being away for so long. I know some of you have been asking, where am I at? Where's, is there no more lessons? What's going on? So hopefully this video will address all those questions. So first, I want to just provide you all with an update on the book that, as if you've watched one of the last videos I provided, was about an experience I had with a medium where it appears that the Great White Brotherhood or Bob directly asked to have a book made from the lessons on the website. So that is what I've been working on. I know it's been many, many months since I've done an update. Mainly what I was doing, other than personal things in my life, is going through all of the emails that I have, not only between Bob and I, but other people. Anything that would be considered a message or a lesson that could be added to the book to make sure it's as complete as can be at this point in time. The vast majority, are basically all going to be messages that Bob received and passed along either to me or to others. And perhaps at the end of the book, I may add a few lessons from myself or messages from myself. So that is now complete. It's not too long ago, I finally got through all of the emails that I had since early 2016. There's a lot to go through. There will be some new lessons, so that's certainly an exciting part. In addition, uh, someone named Nick Mack, who some of you may know, took on going through all of the comments under Bob's videos. So that was also a huge undertaking, and many thanks goes to Nick for doing that. He captured all of the comments, sorry, on and shared those with me, so I have those as well. So now is the huge undertaking of going through all of the lessons, all of the messages, all the comments, and putting them into a book. So I've started the book. The way I'm first going at this is I'm going to take all of the lessons that have already been documented and putting those in the book first, and in an organized fashion as best as I can. And then once that's done, I'll go through the other data that I have, and trying not to duplicate, but go through and add in what additional messages and lessons there are to make, again, as I said, a complete book. So, my my target is to have that all done by the end of this year, which is coming up rapidly, very quickly. So, but I'm making good progress on the book, so I feel confident that I'm going to be able to make it. And then hopefully in the new year, early in the new year, it'll be published. And of course, I'll put a video out to let everybody know that the book is ready for everybody who wants it. And it'll be published, of course, on the website for free, as you see here. So that's the first update. The second update is an experience that I had recently that I want to share with you. And I think that many of you would enjoy this experience because I'm quite certain it involved Bob. So I had to travel back to my birth province of Ontario to help my sister deal with some things with regard to my mother's estate. My mother passed away almost a year ago now, and it just takes forever to get through all of this stuff. But I went to Ontario with my wife, and we were one day. I'm not going to go through the whole details, but one day were we had time before we were to meet my sister. and we decided to go for a hike. It was beautiful weather. It's just recently, it's fall, it's autumn, whatever you want to call it here in Canada, in Ontario. And it was beautiful weather. And there was a place nearby that was near Niagara Falls that we wanted to go. And it was a place that had not been before. So we got there and we knew that there was a waterfall there, not Niagara Falls, but a waterfall. And when we got there, we looked at the map and it gave an estimate of the time for getting to these waterfalls. So we um, decided with the time that we had that we would just be able to see the one waterfall. We found out there was two waterfalls there, so we said, well, we only have time for one, so we picked one, and then we set off on the hike, and it didn't take long to get where we were. So I'm not sure where the estimate of the time came, but we were there in short order. And as we approached, we could hear the waterfall coming up, and we kind of went through a narrowing and then opened up to the waterfall. And the waterfall was on the left, and we could hear it. And as we came into this opening, there was a wall, a protective wall to stop you from, because it was a very large drop down from where this waterfall was. And we were kind of up at the same elevation as the waterfall. And there was this wall there, and we walked up. And of course, as we got there, the waterfall had our focus and our attention. And we both saw it. But very quickly, we noticed on our right that there was a hawk. And this hawk was just on the other side of this protective wall and at first we couldn't see, but it was on a dead tree stump. And you could just see the top of the hawk from like basically like, the chest up. And it was looking at us, of course, and we're looking at it with quite the surprise and a bit of shock because neither my wife or I have been that close to a hawk in the wild. Um, and it was just a beautiful hawk standing there staring at us, and we're staring at it. It wasn't scared. I thought it would fly away right away because we were no more than 20 feet away from this hawk, which again, I've never been that close to a wild hawk. And it just stood there. And what seemed like 10, 20 seconds, we just both sort of looked at each other. And then the hawk just started looking around, going back to what it was doing, I guess, and had no care, no fear of us being there. Wasn't scared whatsoever, and just went back to what it was doing, which is, I guess, looking for mice or whatever. And then my wife uh, kind of walked back a little bit so that the hawk was not in her view, and walked around and went to the other side of the hawk. So now the hawk was on her left, and I was still standing with the hawk on the right, and it wasn't paying attention to us at all. And then the hawk noticed my wife, and my wife was probably only about 8 feet away at this point in time, and that probably was a bit too much. And the hawk decided to fly away, and it flew right in front of me as it blew. And it was just amazing to see such a beautiful creature as that. So both my wife and I were blown away by that experience. Didn't and just kind of left at that as like, wow, that was just amazing. Of course, if I was going to be honest, a little part of me was like, okay, that was pretty incredible. Is there any chance that that could have been some kind of a sign or a guide or whatever? I'll be honest, I don't know if I had the thought of Bob in my mind or not. So we went on after that and decided to check out a little bit more of the park and trails. And as we're walking along, you could hear the hawk above us, and with that sound that is a hawk or maybe an eagle too, like that screech. It was very loud. I kept looking up trying to see if I could see the hawk, but I couldn't see it, but I could hear it. It was very loud, and it was around for a while. So that was the end of that. We met up with my sister and took care of business. Now we were in Ontario for I think 3 or 4 days, and every day it seemed, if I can recall correctly, we saw what seemed like the same hawk. Okay, and I know hawks are hawks and all, and there's lots of them, but in truth, as much as I've always lived and hiked and everything, I've never seen that many hawks, especially every day. And the one that looked exactly the same as the one we saw at the waterfall. And every time we saw it, it was near us, either on a telephone pole or on a wire or the tree right next to the road or wherever we were. And it was there, and we saw it, and it looked like it was looking at us. So we just, and every time, and my wife is actually spiritual, and she's probably a bit more spiritual than me, but she asked, who is this? Who's looking at her? That's our that's a guardian or a guide looking over us. Now, the most amazing thing was that we were on our way home. We'd finished what we needed to do, and we were on our way home, and we drove all day, and we were getting ready to pull off the highway, one of the main highways that goes through Ontario. And we were getting ready to pull off the highway, and I was on the off ramp, getting ready to turn onto the road to the hotel that we were going to stay at for the night, which was just before Quebec, the province of Quebec. And my wife goes, "There's a hawk again." And I went to look. Of course, I'm driving too at the same time, so I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing. But I wanted to, I looked to see, and I couldn't see through the window. I was driving. My wife was in the passenger side. She was kind of looking out to where the hawk was, but I couldn't see where it was. And so as I couldn't see, so as I was starting to look, back towards, I was coming up to the stop sign, getting ready to turn to the right. As I was turning my attention back to the road and driving, my wife said, "Okay, seriously, who is that hawk? Who is watching over us? Is it now?" They're in our family. Many, many, many years ago, a person that my mother knew named Bob. So my wife said, "Is that Bob?" And as I was turning my attention back to the road, on a light post that was right next to the stop sign was a sign, a little sign on the light post. And right at the very top was the word Saunders. I was just I was just blown away because it was all at the same time where she said, "Who is that? Is that Bob?" And I saw the word Saunders. Now, of course, she was asking if it was a different Bob, but I saw the name Saunders. And the sign had something to do, like I saw the rest of the words on the sign. And at that time, actually, I couldn't remember what the rest of the sign said, but I realized afterwards that had something to do with a hydro dam that's just in that same area. Um, but the name Saunders was there, and in fact, it was the actual spelling of Bob's name, Saunders, because the name that we all know Bob by, Sanders, Sanders, is his stage name, if you will. It was the name he was either by error or by on purpose given as he was a musician and a guitarist. If you didn't know that, professional guitarist in a band way back when in his career, early in his career, he used to play in a band that played for Gene Vincent. For anybody who knows Gene Vincent way back in the day, so both my wife and I, especially when I said the word Saunders, because she knows who Bob is, and we were both blown away. And it actually it hit us for days and days after that. Like, couldn't believe what had just transpired over those few days. So, you know, take it for what you will. You could say, well, that's a coincidence. I don't think so. As the Great White Brotherhood Bob say, there are no coincidences. If you like that story, that's great. And if it, if you connect to that, that's great, because to me, there was no doubt. It was Bob there for whatever reason, watching over us, or just wanted to let us know that he's there. So, for anybody who's wondering, a lot of people contact me and asked about how Bob is. Have I been in contact with Bob? You can look at it that way, as a bit of a I've been in contact with Bob, um, or Bob contacted me, I guess you could say. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that story because it was just unbelievable, and uh, hopefully that helps any of you who are also wondering about Bob. So, okay, I'm going to end it here. If there's anything you want to ask, please do. You can leave comments under the videos. You can contact me by email, through the website, or whatever. And I'm going to keep, as Bob would say, soldiering on. to finish this book. And I'm hoping also I'm going to, as best as I can, with some of these new lessons, especially ones that are really good. They're all good, of course, but the ones that are really, really good, I'm going to hopefully publish a few on video, just sort of kind of help keep you guys up to date and let you know how things are going. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you for watching this video. Please visit our website at thegreatwhitebrotherhood.org for free books and lessons to help you on your spiritual journey.